Hey guys, good morning. Can you hear me? Hello. Hi. Am I audible to you? Sidhu, Maunika, Rishi Reddy. So, do you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Yeah, you need to tell me at least. So, you need to make sure if I'm speaking, are you able to hear me or not, right? Otherwise, how can
yes,
I?
sir. Yes, sir. It is hearing. Okay, sir.
Okay, then. I think maybe so, right? From next day onwards, we'll start exactly at 9. So, we can get some extra time to cover the topics. So, make sure you join at the same time, right? I mean, 9 in the morning.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's start. Yeah. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
One second. So what we discussed yesterday, can anyone do the recap?
Paths.
Yeah, come on. So we had a very nice discussion yesterday.
We discussed regarding paths and directories.
All right. So yesterday we discussed what is operating system and what is Linux, right? And why we use Linux. And we discussed different path types, absolute path and a relative path. We also discussed few commands like pwd, mkdir, cd, right? Those we discussed yesterday. And today, right? So we will talk on how to create files and how to manage files and everything, right? So, all right. So basically, how do we create files? Maybe you must be familiar with Windows, right? So if you want to write something or store it somewhere, right? What you do? You'll just simply open a notepad and type something and save it somewhere. Yeah. And you also maintain some classification. So it's a document or just any simple notebook or any ebook, right? So that way you classify a folder and put into that folder. But in Linux servers, right? So we don't have a GUI. So where you can go and click a button and create a file. This is completely different. So, but here, right? So we have different ways to create files. Okay. All right. So we will discuss these commands: cat, fetch, redirection, some editors. Editors are nothing but we will discuss the VI editor. So it's a famous one in Linux. Okay. So it comes with the many features. So before we start today's class, right? So anyone have any questions from yesterday's class? Say yes or no.
No.
No, sir.
Yeah, great. So let's get into this one. So this is my Linux box. So I'll make sure to upload this tomorrow, maybe in the weekend, so you can do it. I mean, you can download and install it in your system on weekend. Okay. I'll also share some Oracle database as well. So you need to install it in your laptop or desktop so that we can start when we start with the SQL. So we can use that. Okay. All right. So what I'm trying to say now is right. So how to create files. But yesterday what we learned, so we know how to list files, right? This way. But again, so we have this files, those are all 0-byte files, right? These three. If you see the size of this file is 0, it's empty file, right? But how do I can create a file with the data? First thing, uh, we use cat, okay? And cat space, see cat is used to some multi-purpose command. Basically, you can display the contents and you can create the contents in a file. You can even copy the files as well. Okay, but copy mostly we use cp command, but cat is not recommended. Okay, see I'm creating this now. So when I say this command, right, cat and then this redirection symbol, then file name, what does it mean? So it will prompt us to give some input. Okay, this is sample text for cat creating files, right? So again, if you enter, so it's not accepting to create a file. So it's still again asking us for input. But how do we save this, right? We need to do Control D. We need to press Control D, right? Now it is saved. If I wanted to see the file contents, right, I can see this way. Okay, this is one way of creating files. Okay, but again, so it has multiple options as well. But basically, cat is one way that we can create files. And the next thing is touch command. See, touch command is always used to create empty file. Empty file only, it will not add anything. But you know, touch command has all the other purpose as well. So when you want to change the timestamp, right? This is the time when this file was created, right? And this is a file when it was created. If you wanted to change this time, you can do it using the touch command. But in most of the production cases, we don't use this. Nobody wants to manipulate files, basically. Okay, but we will just use this for creating a file. That's it. So I'm creating an empty file now. File.txt, right? If I say ls-lrt, so if you see, I was just created this file sometime back, this one, and this is a new file that is created with a 0-byte. There is no records. I even say is nothing, right? Again, so I told you, so we can copy files using cat command. How to do that? So again, so we can use this way: file, cat command followed by file name. I'm doing file.txt and then this symbol. So basically this symbol has a meaning. And if I say empty file, it has a data. See in Unix, right? So this symbol. So in Unix, we have these two symbols basically. This one and double sign. What is this basically we called in mathematics? Less than or greater than?
Greater than.
Right. So this symbol, right? This basically in Linux, right? This is a redirection symbol. Redirection basically. So we have two, this and this, both. So this would create, if there is an existing file, right? And we'll just copy it. And this one, it will create the file, add data into it. Two differences basically. Just copy. If the file is there, it will just copy. It won't create a new file. So in this case, if the file does not exist, it will create and append the data. Okay, that is a difference. So the same thing that we are doing here. So we were using the single greater than symbol because the file already exists. It will create, I mean, just append that output to the file. What happened? All right. So now we have covered touch command and cat command. But what are the other ways that we can do? Right? Okay, so maybe that's a big topic again. So I'll cover that later. But before that, right? We understand this file permission. How do we manage the files? So now we understood how to create the files. And now how to manage this file. How to manage nothing but if I wanted to copy from one location to other location, or if I want to delete, or if I wanted to manage the permissions, or if I wanted to remove entire folder, right? This way, so how do we do all of this? Does anyone know how any simple basic commands in Linux? I mean, if you are from a computer science background, you must know something about these commands. All right, that's okay. Let's talking. So let's continue. So first thing, so we'll discuss how to copy the files from one location to other location or one file to other file. Or if I wanted to copy entire folder from one location to other location, right? So now we have these commands. We'll go back to this whiteboard now. Right. So CP, this will be used to copy files or directories. So what is the syntax, right? So copy command always expects two options or two parameters. See here we discussed yesterday. Here we have options and then we have parameters. First here, copy command expects at least two parameters, that is input file or source file, and this is target. See why it expects two? Because whenever you want to copy something, so you have a source file, and wherever you want to copy, there should be a target. That is the reason. So we always need to input these two parameters that are mandatory. Okay. So this is for simple copy, right? And again, if I wanted to copy a directory which is having some files within it, and if I wanted to copy all those files or entire folder into some other location, right? So in that way, so we use this -r option. -r nothing but it's a recursive. So depends, I mean, irrespective of number of files that exist in a source directory, it will copy everything into the target directory. But here it expects a directory or folder. So here we have source folder and target folder here. Okay, this is to copy folders or directories. All right. Again, if I wanted to copy, right, maybe if like I have like few files that has the same naming convention. Let's say sample1, sample2, sample3. Can I copy everything at once? Yes, we can do wildcard. Wildcard nothing but there are some regular expression symbols like star, question mark, plus sign. But we don't use this much. We only always rely on using this asterisk. Asterisk nothing but it's including any pattern that matches. I'll tell you an example. Sample1.txt, sample2.txt, and sam.txt. Now, when I say copy sam.txt star 2, so let's say simple.txt. So what would happen now? So it will match basically. So it will match if there is any file that starts with sam then dot. Okay. Do you see any file that matches this pattern? Sam dot, right? So we have three files. One is a sample, then is sample2, then we have this file. So what we do now, it will only copy this particular file because it only matches with this sam.txt. So basically what happens, anything that starts with a sam, it will be considered here for the copy. Star nothing but anything after this dot. So it doesn't matter. So in case if I have this one, so like, document XLS. So I'm just taking as an example. So all these files will be considered now because it matches this pattern, right? Sam dot, anything that starts with a sam dot and ending with anything. That is the meaning of the star here. Okay. But if I remove this sam dot, if I just remove this dot, now all the files are in scope because every file starts with a sam. Am I right? Are you following me? Guys, are you clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but again, so it matches, there is an issue now. We will cover with the sample execution here. Okay. right? So what I was saying, so I'll just create. So how do we create a folder that we discussed yesterday? Can anyone tell me? So what is the command that we use to create a folder? How to create a directory or folder? So basically we use mkdir command to create folders. So I'm using this copy demo. Okay. So now we see copy demo is created, right? Here it is. Right. So I wanted to copy one simple file. Okay. I'm doing this file.txt, right? To copy.demo. That's it. Now if I say the file is here now, right? This is a simple execution. So we are just copying the file from the current present directory to the new folder that we created, that is copy demo, right? So now the other way, so how do we copy from one file to other file, right? So now we can do this way. So copy. So I'm doing this empty file one to some copy demo.txt. Again, so if I use the same thing, what will happen? If my file name and my directory name, can they be both same? Because I have this one already here, right? Copy demo is already there, and I'm just copying this file into this copy demo again. So let's see what will happen. So it executes. Simple. It will also create. Did it create? Did it create or not? Yeah. See, here two things. We can create files without extension, right? So we have this .txt. So Linux, it doesn't matter if you create any file extension, it accepts everything. And you can always read that contents using cat. But in Windows, it's not like that, right? But again, if I give this way or this way, both are same. It will consider that as a folder, and it will consider that you are trying to copy file from the source to into this folder, copy demo folder, right? Now, so I have, let's see, like to copy one folder now, folder two, there is nothing. Yeah, folder one, I have these many things, subfolders basically. Fold and then sample, there is nothing, right? That we created this folder yesterday. So first thing, so are you clear how do we copy files? The simple copy.
Yeah.
Okay. So we discussed how to copy file from one location to other location basically, right? So now how do we copy one file from other two? File to file, file to folder, folder to folder. So this way we are talking. The first thing what we did, so file to folder. We copied file from one folder to other folder. What is the folder that we are currently? This is our home directory, and we created one file here, that is file.txt. Another file also we created, empty file.txt, right? These two we copied into copy.demo. That is one case. The other case, if I would like to copy file.txt into other file, or if you want to create a new file with the same copy, right? You can also create that using this way. I'm just creating as a backup, right? Now, if I say list the files, you see this, right? Backup is there, file.txt, both are there. This is one way that, so basically this way, we used to create any backup file if you don't want to modify the original file, right? If you wanted to do something on a file and you don't want to lose any information, so this way you can do it. So take the backup of existing file, keep it aside, and you can work with anything, right? That way. And now I was just telling you, right? So what if I use CP? We have this simple, right? How many folders or files we have? So only one. I'll do. So now I would like to copy them into. So let's say another file, example.txt. So now this will give an error. Why this is giving an error? Any guesses? Guys, what we are doing, why we are doing. So you got any clarity on that? Because I mean, before we start, I mean, executing all this,
There is no file.
there is no file. No, we have this file, right? See, when I say Sam star, right?
But whatever we're copying that example dot to is not.
Okay. So in that case, in the previous command, right? We have this one, file.txt. Then I copied into file.txt underscore backup. So this file was also not present that time. But what it does, it created this file and copied the content. Am I right? Are you clear? Now
Yes.
here the issue is, see, copy command always copies one file at a time. And if you are using multiple files as an input or a source, the target should be a folder. See, you have two files and you wanted to copy into one file. How is that possible? No, right? Are you getting me?
Yes.
See, it matches with the two files. Why it matches with the two files, right? Because the meaning of this, right? Sam then followed by a star. Star nothing but anything that starts with a Sam and anything after this one. Anything that starts with a SAM, so it will consider all the files for that execution. That is the reason you see two files, but your target is this into only one file. So what are we trying to say to that command? So that's the reason it is expecting when we are trying to copy multiple files, the target should be always a folder. Now, if you see, if I use this command, I'll do this to folder. Now it's success. If I say folder 2, right, those two files are copied into this one. So basically, this is one thing that we need to keep in mind. So when we are copying multiple files, the target should be always a folder. And if you wanted to copy one file, so you can copy that to a file, or you can move that or copy that into other file as well. Sorry, other folder as well. Right. So we'll see one more example. So I would like to copy two files. So one is this. Okay. The other one is now this, right? And again, if I use exam.txt, right? What will happen now? Can guess it. It's okay if it's correct or not, doesn't matter. So
With one, we cannot do multiple file copy with the CP command.
we can do it, but the command that we are trying now, right? It is different. See, what happened here basically when we try to copy multiple files? So it is saying target example txt is not a directory. So we also get the same error here. But why? Okay. The cp command always treats this way, right? So let's say what I was saying is, right? What I'm doing, so sample.txt and sam.txt, some other files I'm giving, so exam.txt, right? So when you give inputs or command like this, right? The cp command assumes the very last one, this as a target, and everything else remains as source. Okay, so it's like, so these are the input files, okay, and this is a output file. If you give commands like this, 2 and one more extra, 3 files, even if you give 50 files, the last one, it will treat that as a target. And if you are doing multiple files, it always assume that the last one is a folder and the rest, right, 1 to 49, those files as input. It will try to copy all those 49 files into the last one. That is a directory. That is the reason you see exam.txt was not mentioning as a directory. Now I come back here. Let's say I'm doing this directory now, exam.txt. Yes, it is allowed. In Linux, you can do create folders this way as well, but it's not recommended. But it's okay, we can do it, but it's not recommended. Always maintain proper naming convention. So if I execute the same commands, it would success because the last one, this is a folder. Now, if I say, you can see those 2 files, right? Are we clear on this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So we covered, so file to file, file to folder. Now we'll try folder to folder, right? So again, I'll do this in here. So we have this copy demo. Right? We have 2 files. Now, if I wanted to copy this copy demo to other folder too. Sorry. See what it is saying. CP hyphen R not specified, omitting directory copy demo. What is it expecting actually? So the expectation is it wants to copy the folder, not it, that we wanted to copy the folder, but when we wanted to try to copy the folder, right? So folder might have subfolders or files, many subfolders, subfolders. So it's like that. It may be many folder inside, many files inside, but the copy command doesn't know, right? So we need to do that saying, so we need to copy everything from this folder to the other folder. That is our intention. So to do that, we use this cp-r, r nothing but it's a recursive nothing but it will copy everything from the source to target. That's it. So if I say folder 2, you will see this copy demo, right? So this is all about copy command. You can explore it, practice it. So when you install this in your systems, try it out. Okay. So any questions on this copy?
No.
Right. So now what we do, so we understood how copy works, and now how to delete a file or how to delete a folder. We'll talk on that. So for this purpose, right? So as I was discussing, so we'll be working on file-based commands. So we'll also cover RMDIR, so how to remove directories. Okay, and we use this RM command to remove files. Right. So far, what are the commands that we discussed? So today, so we discuss CP, touch, cat. Right. Now we will discuss this RM. So RM again, so it accept this parameters or files, whatever it is. Right. RM command. Can you see all this, or it's very small? So this is simple RM remove command. Okay, followed by options, then parameters. Parameters here, it must be a file or a folder, right? But when we use a folder, we have to refine this as rm-r. Similar to the copy command when we wanted to copy a folder, right? We use -r. It is similar way actually. If you want to delete a folder, you can use rm-r. Then the folder or directory name. And always, right? I won't recommend anyone, I mean, even a professional, non-professional, everyone. I don't recommend to use this -r in any production environments. But why you are not asking that question?
If you
I'll
do
tell you.
any, if you
Tell
do,
me.
if you done any remove without any like considering a manager, like it may problem to our job because we don't do anything in a production. If we done anything wrong in a production means we may lose our jobs.
Yeah, correctly said. See, people used to do this actually, not even R. They used to do rm-rs. You know what it does? Forcefully, it will clear or removes everything on that folder. In my experience, I have seen production servers cleaned up with this command, with this mistake. That is the reason. So never encourage people to use this. But instead, if you wanted to delete a folder, right, there is another way as well, right? So we will discuss that. Okay, so let's get into this one. Now, so we have many files that we created so far for our purpose, right? Demoing purpose. Now I would like to remove one file. I'll just simply use rm followed by file name. So I'll do this empty file, right? So now we have this empty file till now. So if I say ls-l, sorry, what did I? Right? No such file or directory. It is deleted. It is that simple. It just rm followed by command name. That's it. Okay. So now, what if I wanted to use this way? I mean, we just discussed when we trying to copy, we used sam.star, right? Can we use this here? Yes, we can use it. So if I do the same, so let's say what are the files that are there with this pattern, right? We have two files. If I say sam dot or star, just I'm not using sam dot, I'm just using sam star. That's it. It will remove those two files. Okay. And now if I say this ls-l again, no file or directory because we deleted those two files using this one. Clear? So simple, very simple. Now, how do I delete a folder? I told you two ways. One is we can use rm-r command. The other way is without using rm-r, right? I always use this way. Okay. So first thing, if I wanted to delete a folder, right? So the folder is nothing but we'll pick copy demo now, which is having two files. So when I wanted to delete a folder, basically, or you also, right? So when you start working on a project or something, you can also do this way. See, it's basically in any company, right? They maintain this development, testing, and production environments. Development environments, maybe you'll be having your own environment for your development or testing, unit testing or something. You can use these commands, no worries. But when it goes to testing like UAT or production, right? Never use this rm-r or never delete folders with rm command. We can use rmdir. But if I say rmdir here and copy demo, it says an error because what it is expecting failed to remove copy demo directory not empty. Yes, that is correct. So when we use rmdir, it expects an empty folder to be deleted. If any folder that has some contents inside, right? So rmdir will throw us an error the same way that we are seeing here, right? So what we do now? So we go to copy demo and we remove all the files manually, right? So we can do delete multiple files this way. Even you can give any number of files given by a space. rm space file1, then file2, then file3. That way we can give. It will delete everything. So now if I say ls-l, no files, right? So first thing that we did is we deleted all the files within that folder. Now go back to the home directory. Now we have still this one. We just deleted the files within this copy demo, but we did not delete this demo, right? This folder. Now I'll be using this rmdir, then copy demo, right? Whatever it is. Now it's deleted. If I say ls-l, so do you see copy demo? No, right? So this way we can use rm command, but never use rm-r, rm-f, right? So sometimes it becomes dangerous. Your jobs will be in threat if you do such mistakes. So any questions till now? So we discussed how to create files using touch, cat, and redirections. But redirections will cover again later. So we have different redirections there. And then we covered copy command, rm command. Any questions on these three?
No.
How about others?
No, sir.
No.
Okay, great. So what else we do with any file, basically? We learned how to copy, how to delete, how to create. What is the other thing that is pending? right? So how to rename a folder, right? I would say file. How? So we have a command called mv. So basically this is called move. But how to use this? So this is also very simple. Just source and target. That's it. Very simple. If you wanted to rename a file or folder, but I don't think we can do a rename on the folder, but let's try. I don't remember. Right. So let's see what are the files that we still left with. All right. So I have this, right? I'm using the simple mv and I'm copying it to. So mv demo. Right. So what will happen now? When we rename a command or a file, right? What will happen? Can we still have that source file intact or it will be removed? So when we rename the file, right, or when we move it, so it will not exist anymore. We can only see new one. Do you see file.txt anywhere? No, right? So when we do move, so basically it's nothing but we also can use it as a renaming or move file from one location to the other location, both. See, there is a difference between copy and MV. When we do copy, you can still have the source file as is, but when we do MV or moving one file from one location to other location, the source file will be completely moved and it will not exist in the source. Okay, let's see this example. I think this is clear, right? We just renamed the file to from file txt to mv demo txt. Now when we do this, the source file will not be there anymore because we renamed it to this mv demo.txt, right? Now, if I want to move this into folder 2, right? Now, again, this will not be here. It will be in folder 2 now. See this? mvdemo.txt is now available in folder 2 folder. Now, another thing. Can we rename folder? Did it work or not? So in some cases, right? So this helps you. Let's say when you are writing, executing a shell script. So shell script, nothing but it's a combination of these commands we place in a file and execute all of them together. But when we execute this, right, we won't execute this way. So we will put into a server and we trigger it through a job or Informatica server or something. But how do we capture whether that command success or fail? Right? So we can use this command dollar question mark. Dollar question nothing but what is the status of the last command that is executed. So what is the last command that is executed now? It's move folder 2 to fold. So if you see any non-zero, other than 0, that is an error. If it is 0, it's success. Now because it is success, right? If I say ls-lrt, you will only see fold, not folder 2. Clear on this? Guys, any questions?
Yes, sir.
So you have a question or you don't have a question?
No, I don't have any question.
Okay. So you need to remember this one, okay? This will be very helpful when you are working with the shell scripts. So let's say when you trying to test something, let's, there are some cases when one file created or one command executed, if the command is successful, I need to run the second command. So how do you check the command execution status, right? So you can use this command, echo dollar. Basically, echo is used to display any value of any variable. But by default in Unix, this holds, dollar question mark holds, the return status, the execution status of the last recently executed command. So now what we did, ls-lrt. So did it execute success or not? So we can simply say dollar question mark. Anyhow, that is executed. So I'll give you an example of hold folder, right? So now this is failed, right? It should give other than 0 now. See, that is 1 because that command failed to execute because it is expecting -r to be used because it's a folder that you wanted to copy. Right. So now we understood to create a file, copy a file, move, remove, and remove the folder, delete the folder, everything. Now, so one last topic that we discussed today is managing permissions, manage file permissions. I think that we discussed a little yesterday, right? So I was telling you what are all this, right? Now, when we look at this image, right, there are a couple of things here. All right. So let's understand how to do this. File permissions. So basically for every file in Linux, so we have 3 things like this. Right? This is one, and this is the other one. Yeah. So file permissions include 3 things. Okay. So this is owner permissions. This is group permissions. This is others. Okay. 3 things basically. So exactly what is R, W, and the empty thing that you don't see here, but in other ways you see this X, right? What is X? Does anyone know about all this? Anyone? Right. What are all this? This is read and write, and this is execute. So what exactly are these and how we use these three: read, write, execute, to manage a file permission. Okay. So each one, right? So it has its own value. So I'll just clear this. Right. Now R W X. So how do we add or manage permissions basically? So we can do in two ways. One is number based, the other way I'll tell you how to add this. Now this one holds value 4. When you wanted to add only write or read permissions on the folder, you just give, I'll tell you how to do this. This one holds the weightage of 2 and this one is 1. So overall, if we combine all this, read, write, execute, if we sum up, it will come to 7. Okay. So again, so these three, so we have one for owner, one for group, the other for others, right? So let's say if I don't want to give any permissions to anyone else other than owner, because I am the owner, it's my own file. I don't want anyone else to read or execute it. That case, what we do? So basically, let's say I have which file, I'll pick one file here, file.txt.backup. So otherwise I'll create one simple file. So simple file. See, this is very important. If you don't understand, stop me and ask the question. Now, so we have this, right? So this is the user. So if I wanted to know whom you are logged in with, you can use who am I, right? Who logged in now? It is a user data ang, right? So you can also use who as well or who am I as well. But when you give who, it will give you this. The time when this was logged in. This one. The login time. This is the login time. Okay, anyhow. This is a user. So I'll do one more thing. I have one more shell that is active. Right? I'll change user now to, I have two users here. Right? So now who am I? I'm Hadoop. Right? Right. I'm placing them side by side. Now let's see. So I am in data engineering. So this is one user and this is another user. Now here I am. I can able to see all these files and even I'm here with the other user called Hadoop. See, even though I changed to Hadoop, so I'm here still the same home location. See, I'm able to list every file here. And even I can see this simple.txt. It has simple.txt as well as a content. Now, what I'm doing this with a chmod command, nothing but change mode. Change mode, nothing but this command will be used to change the file permissions. So what I'm doing, I'm giving 700 simple.txt. See, now this is a file permission that we have. What is the meaning of this? We have three. The first three, right? This is for the owner. Owner can read and write. Even group users, I mean, owner will be somewhere. I mean, as a user, I'm part of my team, right? As a team, anyone in the team can access this. They can also read and write. But the last one, right? So whoever see, if you are working in a company, right? You have a team and there are people who are not part of your team, right? So what if they wanted to try to access this one, right? This is a permission they have. Nothing but they can only read it. Right? Read only files. It is similar here, right? Now, let's say I'm executing this. Again, what is that we have? So we changed it. 700, nothing but the owner. I am the owner. I have all the permissions on my file, but others, they don't have any permission. So now if I say cat or simple, permission denied. Because what I'm doing, I said, other than me, nobody wants to see this one. I don't want anyone else to see my files. This way you can restrict this. Even the root user comes in, they will not be able to see this file. See, there are root users and super users as well. The root user sits at the very top, and on the entire data center level, he can access all the files without this permission. But whoever accesses a root, right, the super user, they can also don't see this file. They cannot have access. Okay, that way. Right. So what exactly did we do here? So we executed this command. What is the meaning of this? Let's see. Right. So we executed this 4700, right? The first 7, right? So it will be like this. 7 is for owner user. Next to 0, it is for group permission. The last for others. Right? So now what I did here for owner, I added this 7. 7 nothing but when you add all these, right? Right? When you add this all, it comes to 7. That means our owner will be having read, write, execute. But how about over the group? Let's say if I wanted to give the group, I mean our team members or my team members to read that file, but not write. How can I do that? Can anyone guess? Any guesses? Sorry? Girish, you are trying to say something?
No, I didn't get the question.
Okay. So first thing, did you understand this one, this command? Sorry.
Yes, yes, I'm like giving permission.
Giving permissions. So we have 3 digits here, 700,
Yes.
right? The first number, first digit, it is for owners. Owners means who created that file or who is the current owner of this file, right? The next 0, it is for group permission. The last one is others permission, right? But how do we
Yes.
arrive at this number 7, right? It is this way. If I wanted to give only read permission, I can only give 4. But if I wanted to give read and write, I can use 4 plus 2, 6. And if I want to give the complete permissions like read, write, execute, I can combine all 4 plus 2 plus 1, that is 7. So now owner will have owner will have all the permissions. Now the similar way, if I want my team or my group who have a read permission. What is the number I can use?
4.
4, right?
040.
7.
So 040, what happens, you know? So as a owner, you will lose the permission. So let's see. If I use 040, right? What happens now? So as a owner, you will not be having any permissions, right? See
Yes.
this. Yeah, that way. But again, I wanted to have all my permission, but I only wanted to give this read to the group, right? So let's try. What I'll do is chmod 740 simple.txt. Let's say what happened. See now, previously it was this, and now it added extra R into the group, right? For each, right, there will be 3 letters. Read dot execute for owner, read dot execute for group, read dot execute for others. But you only see read dot execute, then R. R nothing but it's a group. Group users can only read this file. Okay. Now here is some tweak here. So what if I add the others to execute one? That's it. Let's see what happens. And can we still try this one? Still denied. So what I'm doing is now I'm just adding execute permission on this file. Now I am here. Right? Still not allowed. So anyway, so what I'm doing here and why I did this one, X, right? X nothing but I'm giving execute permission on the others, but I did not grant read or write. That's what it is. So unless I specify explicit read or write, then only the user can see that file, otherwise he can't see it. Got it? So this is how we manage the file permissions. There will be 3 components in each permission that we use. Okay, this one like this. Okay. This first 3, right? They are for owner, this is for group, and the last one for others. Okay, now last one thing. So how do we change permissions on the folder? So it's very simple. If I wanted to change permissions on the folder, so let's say I need to use this option, -R, capital R. So what it will do when I execute or change permissions on a folder, it will change all the folders permissions within that file. Let's see an example. So we have these many, right? In fold. So I'm doing chmod -R. So basically what I'll do, 755. This is a very famous permission mostly people give. So fold. Now let's see. Where is it? Fold, where is fold? Yes. What I did? 755. What is the meaning of it? What are the permissions I shared now?
Read and execution.
Right. Read and read nothing but 4 and execute 5. Read and execution. That is correct. So read and execution permission for group, and others. And for owner, you will be having all the permissions. But we executed this on the folder. How about the folder? Let's see that. Right? What happened? So it changed permissions for everything within that file. Sorry, that folder. This is how these permissions will work. So previously, before we execute this change mode on the folder, these were the permissions. But now these are new permissions. Do you see the difference? Previously, it was having read write on owner and group, and for the others, it's having read. But now it changed. Now owner only have the permission to read write. For others, it only read and execute. Okay, so the other way, right? We can also use chmod a plus t.x, then right. What it will do, I'll tell you what happens. Let's see what is a file permission now. What I'm doing, so a plus read, write, execute. A nothing but all. For all users, I wanted to give plus nothing but add. Okay, read, write, execute. That's what it did. In previously, what was the permission that it has? It's only this. And now it's this. Okay. But it's your choice which way that you want. Okay. Now what it will do? Is it owner or others? See what happened? So when I say O minus R, so for others minus nothing but remove the read permission. And now if I say now it will be completely different. See, for owner and I mean like others and group, I wanted to remove all the permissions. Are you having any question now? So if you have that question, that's a homework for you. What is the question? So we have to write owner, right? Owner and others, the both starts with a O. But how do we manage the permissions for owners using this method? Find it out. We'll discuss that tomorrow. But so far, so this is all that we learned about managing the files in a system, in Linux systems. Any questions in today's class? Let's recap on what we discussed today. So we discussed how to create files. So tell me what is the command that we discussed to creating files? Come on, guys. So we learned cat and touch. Okay. And
remove, copy,
then CP, RM, RMDIR, and move and chmod using numbers and letters as well, right? Like a plus rwx. So you can manage these permissions like this, even if you are not confused with this calculation, right? 755 or 600, something like that, you can do that. But anyhow, I give you this assignment, homework, how to manage owner permissions using character based. If you want to modify with using number based, you can simply manipulate this very first number, right? But if you use this way, how to manage that? That's a question. Because owner also starts with a O and others as well starts with O. So, right? So any questions? So before we close our class?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So now, so we covered till here, and so we covered one of these commands, chmod. Okay, so tomorrow we'll cover these very simple commands, and then we'll start with these commands tomorrow as well. Few of the commands that we do use every day actually when we're working in a project. And then I'll start with the VI editor. So this will allow you to create, modify files, file contents, basically not the files, file contents. If you have a notepad in Windows, you can directly open and modify it. You can use cursor and everything, but cursor nothing but mouse. You can use mouse in Windows, but it's not possible when you logged into a Linux server. But how to modify files, right? We will see that. So once we complete this VI editor mostly, so we'll start with the basic shell scripting. That concludes this Linux. So you must be learning most of the commands that we used, not most, everything. Nobody even use all these commands, but we always use copy, move, remove, and ls commands mostly. And rest, it's very rare that we use these files, these commands, but it's good to learn in interview purpose. Okay. So that's all for today. So any questions, let me know. No questions, we'll close the session. And when you're coming to class tomorrow, so find this answer. This is a homework. Okay, no questions?